Good evening. It's 5:32 on Wednesday, December 14th, 2016. It's the monthly meeting of the Urbana Human Relations Commission. May we please have a roll call?
Francis Ridberg Baker, Carol Bradford, Stacy Burnett,
Present.
Samuel Bindum, Daniel Larson,
Here.
Lisa Mosley,
Here.
Peter Resnick, and Catalina Thomas.
Here.
Thank you. Looking over the agenda, are there any additions, edits, or corrections that need to be made, or is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
A second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. Looking over the minutes from our November 9th meeting, are there any additions, edits, or corrections that need to be made? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I didn't see any additions or changes. I move that we approve the minutes from November.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Thank you. So our first item, formal item on the agenda is public participation. Sir, please step forward and introduce yourself and share. Tell us what you'd like to talk about tonight, please.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm John Palin, 2208 Combs Street in Urbana. I'm a member of the local ACLU chapter, and I've been asked to be a contact person with this commission on behalf of the ACLU, so I will be attending your meetings.
Great.
And I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We're delighted to have you here. With no additional public participation, we're going to move on to, and no old business to address. We're going to move on to new business. Alex, we have a discussion we need to engage in.
I was hoping we can switch B and A. Do
Sure.
you mind if I go to B first?
Sure, we have an update.
So I just wanted to update the commission that ever since the election results were announced, there's been, as you all already know, lots of tension, discussion, sometimes anxiety among communities. And so shortly after the election, there were many requests for participation among immigrant civil rights and human rights groups. And so I have had the opportunity to attend several of them to better understand what the anxieties are. So, for example, the Urbana school system held a forum for immigrant families to have a safe space to discuss their concerns and their needs. It was heavily attended. Mayor Pressing attended, our police chief attended, I attended, and there was some other speakers that attended. And we listened and we shared information. And it was a very good opportunity to assure members of the immigrant community that are members of our community that the city of Urbana is vigilant and will always be interested in protecting and defending their civil and human rights. We also attended the Champaign School System Forum that was held for immigrant family members there. And again, very similar concerns. And we had an opportunity to reassure them not only of Urbana's protections, but also Champaign's protections, and remind them that there are two commissions that work diligently to safeguard human rights and civil rights in each of the cities. And it was very well received. The Immigrant Forum held a meeting inviting many members of the community to be present to discuss responding to the immigrant community's concerns and needs, and other issues such as potential repeals of DACA that protect young people in the United States. And again, that was as a meeting where I attended and reminded them of the human rights ordinance that Urbana has and the human rights ordinance that Champaign has, and what we do and can do for them during this period of time with heightened levels of anxiety. There was also a huge meeting that was held at the Champaign Public Library for many of the leaders of community agencies to discuss the current state of protections for the immigrant community. And there was a panelist of speakers. The superintendent of both school systems were present. I was present. The Refugee Center was present. They had a leader from a immigrant rights organization from Chicago attend, and there was a lot of information sharing. So I feel confident that in our cities we are communicating what those protections are and the commitment of this community to protect and defend human and civil rights. Our city council has just begun looking at passing a new resolution reaffirming the city's commitment to sanctuary city philosophies. And so there's been a discussion at a prior city council meeting, 2 city council meetings, and there will be another discussion at the next city council meeting. There's a draft. And so I'll call your attention when you have an opportunity to the City Council website, and there you'll be able to see Resolution 2016-12-07R, and I'll give you a chance just to read it here. And so at the last city council meeting, there was a good discussion about if anything else needs to be added to the resolution. And a Professor Boyle, addressed the city council, and he recommended the inclusion of 2 substantive pieces into the resolution. And then some of the council members also wanted some additional language. And so the mayor has prepared a updated one and will be releasing it to the city council through the clerk's office tomorrow. And then they'll have an opportunity to review the updated, expanded resolution this coming Monday and decide what language stays and what language gets amended. So I really wanted to bring to your attention the many meetings that have been held in the community, that the Urbana Human Relations Commission and the Human Relations Office has been well represented, and that we are helping people understand that the role we play is through enforcement of the national origin protection, the race protection, color protection, and so the individuals understand that they can enjoy freedom from discrimination in employment, in housing, and public accommodation, as well as credit along these areas of protection. This leads me to the next agenda item, which I heard from some of you that it might be a good idea for the Human Relations Commission to draft its own resolution within the scope of its functions. And I was wondering what you thought before I expend time and resources. And if you would be interested in, then I'd like a volunteer of someone that could help me draft it. And also, if you were interested, what some themes or thoughts you might want included. I could take some from the floor, or you can email it to the office, and we'll take that into consideration as we pen something for next January, which will be an important month, January of next year.
Fran?
Yeah. Hi, sorry I'm late,
No.
guys. Well, I've been looking into this a bit, and most of the information out there is about resolutions that come from city councils, and like the one, well, this one that we just looked at is more about the immigration in particular, but people have been speaking out in general too, and I did find one that I thought might serve as a model for a statement, a public statement, I would say. I don't know about our ability to put out a resolution, but that's a technicality, that we voice something to our community at this time, and have it be reflect our charter, our mission. And I don't think there's any, so insofar as that is a political thing, it's political, but I don't think that there would, something like this necessarily can be criticized along those lines. And I found a particularly, I think, good example from the city of Durham. And actually, I would like to make a motion, if I may. And then we could discuss, and that is that I move that the Human Relations Commission draft a public statement, a resolution, to the community of Urbana, reaffirming our commitment to civil rights and civil society in Urbana, and the continued vigorous enforcement of our human rights ordinance. I wouldn't necessarily mention the election or anything, but just so people might feel a little safer, a little more secure. And I'm including in there women as well, whose civil rights may be under attack, and all these other groups that we all know and are concerned about. So I would like to make that motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. Discussion. Folks, what do we, what's our role right now in this moment of our society, our community?
So Fran, you see this in addition to what the city council, I guess I was kind of waiting to see what our city council,
Well-
which direction they moved. And do you feel like there's more is needed, but beyond what they've done?
Well, I'm not sure. I know that there's a focus on sanctuary here, which is extremely important, maybe the most important thing. But I think we need to make a broader statement, and I think the more noise, the better right now. I mean, it's like everything, nothing individually may make a difference, but lots of things together, like any kind of protest or people getting together and talking about this, everything matters. And I think the more we express these ideas, the stronger it makes resistance to any threats to these things. I can share with you first of all, I can share this letter from the city of Durham to the people of the city of Durham from the city council, and so you can all take a look at that. I think it's a good model for us. But also, I was thinking an alternative would be to express our support and promote the ideas of making statements like this to the city council as well as part of our role. But I don't see there's anything wrong with us taking a stand ourselves. I mean, we're in charge of this, protecting these rights, and all the people that our ordinance protects are the people who are anxious now and upset, and the people who are the allies of these people, which is us. So I think it's important to make a statement, because not to speak is to speak.
Additional thoughts, comments, questions? I think in light of some of our new promotional materials, our new pamphlet. I don't want to get too far away from specifically what you're saying, but, and it being the new year and all those things, a statement also can just remind people, we're here.
Exactly.
That could be, a sub-function of a press release, of a resolution. We've certainly released press releases from this commission before. I don't know if we've ever done a resolution or not, but that's fine. I'm not trying to dissuade us from doing that, but I think there's a lot of things that we could do with such a statement.
Were you thinking press release or aired through UPTV?
Yes, I think it has to be a public statement that we reach as many people as possible. I think the newspaper is a very important place to release it. And I don't know how many people watch UPTV these days, but I mean, it can be in the news as well. The news, local news should certainly
Certainly post it to our website.
talk about it. Yeah, I want it to be, I would want it to be.
To
And as you
circulate.
say, it's also an opportunity for increased awareness of this commission and department.
Alex, what are your thoughts?
You have done statements before. I think you did a statement during the Ferguson or after the Ferguson. You can pass resolutions as a body, so that is an appropriate vehicle. It could be it's important that whatever is released is narrowly tailored to the mission of the Human Relations Commission, and at any point in time in our national journey, it is always important to articulate the principles under which the Commission labors to advance and to defend. So I think it would be a good idea. It'll depend on what language is incorporated into it. If you decide that you would like to see a draft, then I will help draft it with a commissioner. There's some, I believe a couple of commissions have put together a statement or a resolution. I'll have to source some that we could use as a template. And again, I'm not very much of a political person. My concern is simply with people understanding that protections are in place, resources are available. And when we went out to many of these meetings that were held so quickly to really address a very acute anxiety, I was shocked how many people were finding out for the first time that Champaign has a human rights officer and Urbana has a human rights officer. And I thought, wow, okay. And we distributed tons of cards and lots of pamphlets. So that alone, that both the chair and Francis have spoken about, that promoting awareness, promoting how to get a hold of us, and helping people understand that we're not partisan. We're about civil rights and human rights, and making sure that there's a forum here to address any concerns. Makes sense to me.
And I just want to say that it just shows that we are being active in our roles and just not meeting once a month just to pass time, that we actually are thinking of the community and everyone else. So to put something in action means a lot rather than just having something written down once a month.
Sounds good.
Is there a commissioner who would be interested in working with Alex on drafting? Okay. All right. France, you're okay taking point on this?
Okay,
Oh,
I
okay.
guess I deserve it.
No, it is a good idea to
So-
get out there.
We have a motion. maybe consider amending it to say, I just said public statement. It could take the form of a resolution or a letter, like they did in Durham. And yes, I think if we keep the scope appropriate, then we can act independently if we keep it to our mission. I think that's, yeah, great.
I have no data to support this. It's just a personal opinion, but I feel like resolutions sometimes kind of get lost. The language, the form of the resolution, they serve a very valuable purpose. I'd be more in favor of a press release, a public statement, a letter. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to push any.
It's more accessible, I think.
That's what, more accessible.
I think, yeah, it's not like, here's our letter, and it gives you a little more freedom in the structure of it
Yes.
as well. Although you don't need all the whereases.
The whereas.
To heck with logic, right? No, so, no, okay. So I'll leave my motion as it is, as a public statement.
Any further questions, comments, discussions? Samuel?
Are we approving a letter, or are we approving the proposal of a draft of a letter?
The second, I believe.
Oh, because of the way I worded it?
We would
Oh.
vote again to approve
Oh,
the,
There's a second
there's
step.
nothing,
yeah.
there's no
Right
text.
Right now, we're
bring
just
it to us.
approving that,
Right,
We draft.
yeah, yep,
We expend the energy to draft.
yes.
yes.
Cool, is everyone, okay? So, motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, the same? Thank you, thank you. All right, our next agenda items are our staff report. Alex, back to you.
Okay, we have a new company that is applying for certification, Bailey Edward Designs. They are a small company based out of Champaign, Illinois, provides general architectural services. They are a 22-employee company. Their minority utilization rate is 13.6, and we are recommending that they be certified for 1 year. Given that we only have one brand new certifying, if it's okay with everyone, I'll go forward with the renewals. For renewals, we have Burns Clancy and Associates, which is a company out of Urbana, Illinois, providing engineering, surveying, and planning services. They previously had 23 employees, they're now 21 with a loss of 2 employees. Their minority utilization rate is 4.8%. Female utilization rate is 19.0. We're recommending that they be renewed and certified for 1 year. The next company is Chris and Company, a very small company based out of Thomasboro, Illinois. They provide mowing and hauling services. They have 4 employees. Their minority utilization rate is 0. Their female utilization rate is 25%, but again, the numbers are very small. We are recommending, given their size, that they be renewed for a 2-year period. We have Intuiform Technologies, a small company based out of Chesterfield, Missouri. They are they provide the service of trenchless reconstruction of underground water and sewer pipes used in cured-in pipe. They are approximately 31 employees. Female utilization rate is 12.9%. Minority utilization rate is 29%. We're recommending that they be recertified for 1 year. And the last company renewing is Reliable Plumbing and Heating. They are based out of Champaign, Illinois. They provide plumbing and HVAC services. They have 37 employees, a female utilization rate of 8.1, and a minority utilization rate of 0. They were previously certified at 6-month level, and we're requesting that they be recertified at the 6-month level.
Any comments or questions for Alex? Or is there a motion on the floor? Fran?
I was just going to comment on Bailey Edward, that possibly consider giving them 2 years. Doing pretty well. It's fairly diverse for such a small, or it's just one person. Mm.
I think
I-
females make up the most of that
Yeah.
minority.
Well, the females don't go into the minority, do they?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, they don't.
They're
Uh-uh.
separate.
3 employees, that, 7
Well-
employees being females, pretty respectable, especially in
Right.
Mhm.
Bailey.
And I like the diversity, but it is only one person for each. I didn't really look at that when I was thinking maybe
Mhm.
they should get 2 years, but that's,
In the cumulative,
Mhm.
it's impressive.
yeah, it's not too bad, actually. Just a thought, maybe consider 2 years for them.
Any other comments or observations or questions for Alex? All right.
Well, has Reliable shown any efforts in reaching out for more minority recruits?
Part of the issue that I am going to be reaching out to them to have a deeper level conversation. Part of the issue that they face is that they are subject to a collective bargaining agreement, and so they're sourcing their labor from the union, and some of these particular unions have some challenges in having diverse workforces. So one of the things we'll be looking at is the level of interaction between the company and the labor union to request increased efforts to diversify their workforce. Usually in these kinds of situations, some of the areas we look into for good faith also include the extent to which they are reaching out to underserved communities, high schools. Some companies have gone out and started developing pilot programs, some of them marketing that particular trade to ensure that although it'll take some time to build that pipeline, at least that some efforts now will yield some results, 2 to 3 years out. I'm not particularly, that's one of the areas of inquiry that I would go into with them. To what extent, it is a small company, it's growing. To what extent is the company working to expand the reach of that particular occupation to underrepresented groups? We do find that when we certify for 6 months and then recertify for 6 months, that it does create incentives to improve in those minor areas that they do have the ability to improve. But at this point, we haven't seen a decline in their efforts. There may be some status quo. When we do reach out to them for further inquiry, it would look into what additional steps are you engaging in.
Thank you for the clarification. Back to Fran's point, how are people feeling about Bailey Edward design? Do we want to go with the staff recommendation, or is 2 years something that the commission feels is warranted?
I thought it should stay at 1 year so that we can at least see how they perform. And then next year, if they're still holding in the categories, in all the categories, then
We
think about it.
okay.
Go up. I mean, yeah, it could go
Yeah,
up
their
or-
numbers seem comparable to some of the other one-year recommendations. I mean, I look at our consistency and I think we kind of have with all the numbers, a good guideline of So I would go with Alex's recommendation as well.
Okay. 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 Is there a motion on the floor then regarding these, this one new application and 4 renewals?
I have one question about the renewal of Burns, Clancy, and
Yeah.
Associates. I would go ahead and renew for a year with a check-in at 6 months. It is Urbana-based, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
So we're on Main Street.
So, yeah, I would like a little bit more information in regards to their recruitment efforts. That would be my only addition.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion on these vendors, please?
Well,
Rock, paper, scissors? No.
you
Sure, I'll go ahead. I move that we approve the EEO renewals and initial as stated. Do you want me to read each one in, Alex?
please.
Okay. So we recommend that Bailey Edward Design is renewed for, or is, what's the word I'm looking for?
Certified.
Certified for 1 year. And that Burns Clancy and Associates will be renewed for 1 year with a check-in at 6 months. Chris and Company is renewed for 2 years. Institute Form, that's a tough one to say. Technologies, renew for 1 year, and Reliable Plumbing and Heating, 6 months. And hopefully some incentives for them to, show good faith efforts.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Any final discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, the same? Thank you. Alex, where would you like to go next?
I'll let, I somewhat gave you a report of the activities that the HRO office has been engaging in. We did have a chance to meet with the ordinance enforcement group. We had a very productive meeting. We are going to be having another meeting after the new year to discuss prioritizing. We laid out a pretty robust agenda of different enforcement areas. One of them, of course, is improving our EEO process. We have a very good EEO process, but there's some places where we can provide additional guidance to employers, updating the form so that we're collecting a little bit more data. And then I cannot underscore enough, when we look at disparities in the community, employment is one of them. And this is one of the ways that the Human Relations Commission really makes sure that opportunity, equal employment opportunity, is being advanced in the community. And sometimes we wonder, what are the effects? This is an important core function of the commission, and I'm looking forward to how we're improving this process after January 1st when we begin looking at some of the form improvements. I do have one other item. Mr. Todd Rent, who has previously was a human relations officer and served on this body, is moving on. He is going to be going to UCLA, which is the 5th ranked medical center in the United States. He's leaving this Friday. I'm sorry, his last day is tomorrow, and he's leaving on Saturday. And we wish him well. I'm going to take responsibility for the Human Resources Office, and I've identified someone to come and assist me and the commission in the HRO office. So I will be looking forward to announcing that in the next couple of weeks. And pretty much that's the activity. Being very available to the immigrant community during this time of transition and is very important. We are continuing to see some step up in questions about housing discrimination. So I've been fielding those calls. There's been inquiry around the area of prior conviction, and there's that whole landscape of the law has been changing and growing robust, and so there will be an opportunity to do some very detailed guidance to the housing market after the new year. And it's about the two major things that are drawing resources currently for the office. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize my mic wasn't on. With that, I'll let Tony give you the budget report.
Okay, we just have one new expenditure to report this month. We charged $50 to the grants and sponsorships line item, and what that was for was a Meyer gift card to be given out as a prize at the expungement summit that was held this fall by the circuit clerk's office. But that's the only new item I have for you this month.
Thank you, Tony. Do we have any announcements?
I'd like to make an announcement.
Please.
On Friday, First Followers is having their re-entry research forum. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. and it's being held at Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church at 1310 North 6th Street. And what it is, it's the results of the community survey that they had passed out or accumulated from over 300 people. And it's on the challenges faced by the people with felony convictions. And their work is the aim is to open up a public dialogue about supporting people with a criminal background by providing employment, education, and other opportunities. And it's a time where you can voice your thoughts and concerns of what's going on in the community.
Could you repeat the time and date and location one more time, please?
Of Friday, December 16th, 6 to 8 p.m. at Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church, 1310 North 6th Street, Champaign.
All right. Thank you. Any other announcements? Well,
Just wanted to remind the commission that the Martin Luther King celebration will be Friday, January 13th. It is a 1-hour program. It starts promptly at 4 p.m. And this particular celebration is going to be unique. The Parkland College Student Union will be the venue. It has glass all around it. It's very spacious, and we had a wonderful event last year there. And we have the committee has awarded the 3 Martin Luther King Awards, and for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Outstanding Achievement Award is going to be conferred on the Ellis Drive 6. There will be some press releases coming out soon to tell you a little bit more about their work, historic work in the community. The Doris K. Wiley Hoskins Prestigious Community Service Award is going to be awarded to Lucia Maldonado, I believe. And the James R. Burgess Jr. Susan Freiberg Award, Humanitarian Award, is going to be awarded to Stone Creek Church for their work in helping to build an inclusive community and all of their humanitarian outreach. I'm looking forward to as many members of the commission attending as possible, and if you would remember to bring your badges, that would be wonderful so that people have a face for the important work that you do. The community really needs to see the members of the commission and the members of the city government present, so I do want to, if you can go to attend. Again, it's going to be 1 hour. It's going to be a beautiful commemoration. And there's going to be hors d'oeuvres afterwards at 5 p.m. with some entertainment. Last year, we had some really wonderful fellowship afterwards. People stayed and visited for a while. I think the entire thing was done by 6:30. Some people didn't want to go home, so stayed a little bit. I'm sorry, we were done by 5:30 and then definitely by 6. So, and it's you can come and go as you please. So I welcome all of you and members of the public to attend.
Thank you, Alex. All right, I guess we'll, as a formal body, we'll wish each other happy holidays, happy New Year, and we'll extend that to our community. Look forward to
A new year.
a new year. I won't add any adjectives to that, but a new year. Yay. Let's have a good new year. So, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.